What's going on, guys? This is Carl with the Racerred channel, riding the mighty YZF-R1 today. This bike is awesome, lots of fun to ride, and I haven't been riding for about 2 weeks. I've been mechanicking pretty much non-stop. I purchased a 2000 Toyota Tundra with the 4.7 liter V8 in it. And I have not sold my F-150 yet, but it is up for sale. And the Tundra needed a timing belt done. I got it home and I checked the timing belt and it's all cracked. So I had to do that job. I did it solo and it took forever. The first time I did it, it took a while. It took like 2 days. And then it leaked out of the thermostat housing, and so I had to pull it apart again, thinking it was the water pump, and I did it 3 times. Did that whole job 3 times. So I never claimed to be a good mechanic, but I got it done. The truck does not leak. It runs good. I got the timing right. It's all good. So the Racerred mobile is ready to go. Man, one thing that I've realized is that modern vehicles in general are designed like a light bulb. They're just designed to go out every once in a while. You know, the first light bulbs didn't ever burn out. There's a light bulb in New York at a fire station that is on 24/7. It's one of the first ones ever made, and it does not go out ever. It's never been replaced. But the manufacturers, once they decided to make light bulbs, figured out how to design them to where they would burn out every once in a while, so you had to buy new ones. Otherwise, you just keep it forever and they would go out of business. Totally makes sense from a business perspective. And the same thing gets done with vehicles. They design everything to go out every once in a while. The faster things can go out, really, the better, as long as they get you past the warranty period. So 150,000 miles is a pretty good number where they want everything to start failing. And my F-150 fell apart at the seams at 150,000 miles. Of course, it's the 5.4 liter 3 valve, which is the nightmare engine. Wish I would have known that when I got it, but I did not. I just didn't research enough. Now I've got a 2000 Toyota Tacoma with a 4.7 V8, and I am a fan of the older stuff, especially this Toyota is supposed to be a 1,000,000-mile truck. You can drive it 1,000,000 miles, as long as you do the regular maintenance. So I'm going to test it out and see how long I can make it go. Buying new stuff doesn't necessarily mean you're getting better stuff at all. In fact, it usually means the opposite. These manufacturers have to design their stuff worse and worse in order to meet EPA regulations or California regulations. What ruined a lot of the Ford engines was California regulations, actually. The 7.3 turbo diesel is known to be one of their best diesels, if not their best diesel engine ever made. But California regulations ruined it. They required Ford to make something different, and so they made the 6 liter, and it was a horrible engine, and they have made horrible stuff ever since. Same goes with the 5.4 liter 3 valve that Ford made. That was also a California engine that was made to meet regulation standards. So I got a year 2000 Toyota, which is right in the sweet spot when they had really figured things out, and yet they weren't too regulated. And So during that time period, they made amazing vehicles. Even Ford made the 4.6 liter V8, and that was a pretty good engine. I have found that buying vehicles from the year 1998 to 2008, that 10-year period right there, is really good for buying vehicles. Beyond that, if you go way back to the 60s, you can get good vehicles again. Like that 64 Chevrolet that I have, I was talking to my dad about that thing, and he's like, man, back in the day when people drove these, you never you never had to worry about stuff. You could take it for a drive across the country. You didn't worry about anything going wrong with it, really. You didn't have to. It didn't matter if it had 200,000 miles on it, 250,000 miles on it. You never worried about your truck breaking down. And if it was breaking down, it would start to make noise, and you would just find out where the noise was coming from and fix it. It wasn't that big of an issue. Nowadays, you deal with gigantic wiring looms that aren't well protected, and then they short against the frame. This is what happened to my Ford, the 2007 one. Shorts out against the frame, blows the fuse, and then Ford, in its infinite wisdom, connects that particular wiring to everything in the truck. There's no specific thing, so it doesn't alert you to a specific wire. It alerts you to everything. My AC quit working, the cruise control quit working, the ABS lights popped on. So I replaced all those systems. I started replacing all those systems, I should say, and none of it worked. Luckily, I know a really good mechanic, and he pulled that thing all apart and discovered that that was what was wrong with it. But it took a lot of heartache to get to that point, and about $5,000 or $6,000. What I have found that mechanics do is they just tell you, well, we think it's going to be this, and then they start getting permission to charge you, and because they have to make money, obviously. I don't know. A lot of people say, well, if they didn't fix it, they shouldn't charge you at all. And I have not found that to be the case with any mechanics locally. In fact, they will make you sign a contract. That one that I was getting work done at Emmett, they made you sign a little contract that said you're giving them permission to do that work. And they led me astray a couple times where I told them it was the fuel pump. They thought it was an evap canister. They said that they were almost sure it was the evap and not the fuel pump. I let them go ahead and do it because I trusted them. And over $2,000 later, I get a truck back that has the same issues, and it ends up being the fuel pump. And they did the fuel pump too. So that whole ordeal was it was several $1,000s. I can't remember how much it was. Probably $3,500 for that one. Recently, I've decided to do all the labor and all the work on my own, because generally I bet I could do a better job than most. I've come to the conclusion that pretty much the best vehicles are the simplest, easiest to work on vehicles. If I look under the hood, I don't even look at the outside anymore. I look under the hood. So far, the major flaw of my Tundra is that the water pump is deep. It's deep within the vehicle, and so is the timing belt. They don't make it easy to access at all. But now that I've done the job 3 times, I'm pretty much able to zip it apart and get that whole job done in a day. I just haven't found a mechanic that I'm really happy with where they don't charge you unless it's fixed right. Except for my buddy Lance. He's an awesome mechanic, but I don't want to bother him with my vehicles because it would be non-stop, and he's busy as it is. There's always something going on with vehicles if you have as many wheels as I do. I still have work to get done. I can think of a few things offhand that I need to get done. If I could give some advice, it would be to do your research on a vehicle. For one, I wouldn't buy brand new. That's just me, I guess, but I would not buy a brand new vehicle. Sure, you get a warranty, but yeah, that's going to go away eventually. What do? Just keep buying brand new ones? Always keep your warranties? That's one way to do it, if you just accept that gigantic monthly payment that could be going elsewhere. I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. I'm not bashing anybody who does it, but that's not for me. You should, if you have one vehicle, if you only have one vehicle, you should have a truck. Every family should have a truck. So yeah, that's always been my mentality, is that the truck is my primary vehicle. That is why I put so much money into the 5.4 Ford, and that is why right when I got this Toyota Tundra, I did all the necessary work to it to make it have great longevity. And I plan to take meticulous care of this truck to make sure that it's good to go for a long time. Because, like I said, if everything else breaks, that's my primary vehicle, is my truck. I've never, ever been without a truck. I don't think anybody should be. If you have one vehicle and it's not a truck, go sell that vehicle and buy a truck. That's my opinion. That way you never have to rely on other people's stuff unnecessarily, because there's no excuse not to have one. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Everybody needs a truck. Trucks are good. They're durable. They're utilitarian. If you haul anything, you need a truck. That's the end of my story. Catch you guys on the next video. Peace.
His name is Racerred. If he wasn't riding, he'd be in bed. He naps during the day. He rides his love in garage bays. Oh, he rides all night, full throttle all the time. Oh, he was born to ride. Red Racer, like, comment, and subscribe.